Hello, welcome to this mid-morning taste challenge. We have two West Indies gold rums. This is Don Q Gold, Ron Oro gold rum, Producción Tradicional, that means traditional production. It's aged 1.5 to 5 years. It's a blend of rums, aged at the youngest 1.5, at the oldest 5 years. It's certified kosher, and it is produced in Puerto Rico by Destilería Serrallés, established in 1865. So this is from 1865. It's got a beautiful glass embossed bottle. It says Serrallés, Serrallés, Puerto Rico around the shoulders. And I got it for the great, awesome, extraordinary price of $13.99 for this huge handle bottle. Seems hard to believe, but it's a true story. A family legacy. And they go in on their website, they go into all this intricate detail about the Serrallés family and how their favorite novel was Don Quixote, and that's why they named their main line rums Don Q. They do have the Serrallés collection, much more expensive than $18.99 a handle. No, let me take that back. This is running for $20.99 right now for this. $20.99 for this big jug bottle. Good deal. But like I said, I got it for $13.99 at Dorgnac's Food Store on Veterans Boulevard in Metairie, Louisiana. Now the competitor. This was introduced in 1933, 89 years ago, by a company called Grosskopf Distillers of Kentucky, family-owned, husband and wife-owned company. They had no children. But they did have many foster children that they, took care of over the years. And all the money they had accumulated was donated to the University of Louisville. So they wanted to give their money to charity. I don't mean all the money, but most all the money was given to Louisville, University of Louisville. Husband and wife, Mr. and Mrs. Grosskopf, both died within weeks of each other in 1999. So they lived to be a very old age in the 90s, and they passed away. So now the company's under the Heaven Hill umbrella, but it still says bottled by Grosskopf Distillers Company, Bardstown, Kentucky. And this is Aristocrat Gold Rum, like I said, introduced in 1933. I paid $6.99 for this liter, $6.99 for this liter at one of the local stores, probably Savannah Discount, if I'm not mistaken, on Louisiana Highway 45 northbound in Marrero, Louisiana. I checked Total Wine just now. They got the silver version of this, Aristocrat Silver, $7.49. So apparently it's only going up 50 cents, even with the JB inflation, 50 cents. So what a deal. $7.49 for a liter, $13.99 in my case for the handle, which is extraordinary. So I don't think you're going to run across the deals I did. I don't think you're going to find a liter of Aristocrat Gold for $6.99, and I don't think you're going to find this Don Q Gold for $13.99. But whatever the case, I bought them, and I've been pleased with them. It says product of the West Indies, okay? But interestingly, nowhere does it say imported. That's making me think it's got to be coming from either Puerto Rico, a U.S. Commonwealth, or the United States Virgin Islands, a United States territory. Because if it was coming from any other West Indies island, country, or territory, it would say imported, because it would have to go through the import customs, right? It would be from a foreign country. Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, they're not states. They're not technically part of the United States, but they're controlled by the United States. So they're not considered foreign countries in a technical sense. They're different countries, but they're not considered foreign countries. All right. So if I decided to get on a plane today and go to the U.S. Virgin Islands or Puerto Rico, I would not need a passport. Now, when they start this smart card, I will, but I mean, you don't need, you don't pass through customs. Okay. You get it. All right. Get my label straight. So we'll pour the Grosskopf Aristocrat. Johnny Neely told me when he worked at a bar about 15 years ago in Alabama, he said, yeah, it was very common. They would have Aristocrat. And he said he was familiar with it, tasting it. He said he thought it was good. Not a premier brand. You're never going to see a television commercial. You might see a magazine ad for Don Q. I mean, you might. It's only been sold in the United States since 2006. It had been sold previous to that, but then something happened, and for years, decades, it was not sold here. But it's been sold here for the last 16 years at the time of this recording. Very pale. They're both very pale. The lightest gold, which is making me think they're not adding coloring. That they're not adding caramel color because they're so pale as it is. Roscoe, no age statement. Or I should say Aristocrat, no age statement. Let me update that. No age statement. So I am thinking it's from either Puerto Rico or the United States Virgin Islands because it says from the West Indies, but it does not say imported. And I got one tomorrow that does say imported from the Virgin Islands, which was making me think the British Virgin Islands. Blue Ice from Georgia, the Empire State of the South. Great. Oh, he says the breakfast of champions. Yes. I had breakfast. I had, this was at 4:45 a.m., but I had 2 shrimp and 3 fish sticks out of the oven. True story. With cocktail sauce, which I made with beaver, horseradish, and Great Value ketchup. That's the way it is, with some black pepper. And a cup of coffee with milk. Very thin milk. No fat milk. Do I like no fat milk? No, it's bland. But they had it for 99 cents for a gallon. So I bought it. All right, anyway. And the no fat milk, it'll last so long past the expiration date because there's nothing to turn. How do you make water turn bad? You know what I'm saying? Now, if you get the vitamin D milk, the red cap, which I like the most, the full-bodied milk, the malt liquor of milk. Once you get a day past the expiration date, you can look for it. It's going to start smelling bad. It's going to turn because it's got all the milk fat in it. No, I mean, okay, here we go. But this economy, the way this economy is going, you got to save your money. You got to be smart. I'm talking about saving money. I just went to Aldi and bought their Advent Calendar beer collection. 24 beer cans for $2.08 a can. $2.08 a can. Are they any good? I don't know if they're any good. I'm going to find out. It'll take me 24 days to find out. Smells like dry gold rum. Like very dry, like no sweetness, like a little light molasses. Light. Are these sipping rums? No, because people don't like to sip light rums. They want something with some substance, some hep. They might want a 90 proof, 20-year age rum. You might say, you're not a discriminating buyer. That's true. I can't argue with that. All right. But I'm clever. Okay. And resourceful. Let's look at it that way. Yeah, about the same aroma. So they both taste like very light molasses. Sugarcane stalk, sweet. Think of rum as sugar liquor. then you got it. Rum is sugar turned into booze, sugar booze, sugar booze. Think of whiskey as grain booze. It's cereal grain, usually corn, some barley, some rye, some wheat, depending on how they want to mix it or blend it. Could be all of them mixed together, blended together, or just one of them could be a totally 100% wheat whiskey. But whatever the case, think of it as grain booze. Brandy is grape booze. They take grapes and they make liquor. Or they could use apples. In some cases, they have apple brandy and even all kind of crazy brandies. But usually it's grapes. And you're kind of catching on to what I'm saying. And think of tequila as agave booze. They take agave plants, a succulent plant, and they turn it into liquor. Okay. Liquor makes your mind thicker. Okay. And away we go. There we go. Taste time. In my right hand, yeah, pretty much what I said. Like moderately sweet, light molasses with the sugarcane stalks, namely meaning tastes like grass. Now, somebody might come at me and talk about, you're so dumb. You're so dumb. Sugarcane doesn't taste like grass. And I would come back to them and say, but sugarcane is a grass. It's a type of grass, which is technically the case that they gave me. Okay, now. Woo-ha, I got you all in check. This is pretty much what I just drank in the other glass. Sipped. I wouldn't drink liquor at 9:30. I have some control. I'm tasting. I have enough sense to not drink liquor in the morning time. That's a tragic kingdom. Gwen Stefani wouldn't he? But what I mean is it's the same as what I had over here, but it's not as sweet. It's less sweet or drier, however you want to approach that terminology. So do they both taste about equal? They pretty much equal. The price is pretty much the same. You say, what about around the world? How do people approach these? Well, they're not well known. Even Don Q is kind of known. Kind of. Like, you might see it around. It's not sold anywhere in this town. Don't make a frown. It's like you go to New Orleans and they have a few stores that sell it, but it's not really that widespread. Same thing with Aristocrat. You might see it. More than likely, you're going to see it in a bar room below the counter. And you say, I want a rum and Coke. And that's what you're going to get. Aristocrat. Yeah, you're not going to get the Bacardi 25-year aged. No, you're going to get Aristocrat with no age statement, and it was retail $7.49 a liter, and so the bar probably bought it for $5.99 a liter. Yeah, but you're paying $9 for the cocktail. What a deal! What a deal you got at the bar. So really, it's a matter of, I guess the quality control is fine for both of them. Grosskopf Distilling was a very small company. They probably made some money. Mr. and Mrs. Grosskopf, they were able to donate all kind of money to the University of Louisville. I'm sure they weren't. But they weren't, they were just like kind of rich. You know what I'm saying? I wish I was kind of rich, but you know what I mean? No, so, but then you got Don Q, the Serrallés family. They're like big, you know, in Puerto Rico. Command the audience. When they speak, people listen. They like E.F. Hutton. But when the Grosskopf people spoke, people say, I heard that name before. They weren't like E.F. Hutton, but people heard of them. But what I mean is, I guess they both had good quality control, more or less. I don't think Grosskopf had a distillery in the West Indies ever. They had a little tiny distillery in Kentucky where they made bourbon. I think it burnt down, just like the Tom Sims distillery. Don't know what kind of fire it was, but I mean, it was a hot fire. What do you think I mean? They obviously contracted their liquor from some major distillery in the Caribbean, and these companies all do it. It's a common practice. It's not a big deal. They do it in the beer world. You know, get a grip. If you have a fixation or a consternation or an aggravation with contract produced products, you might want to find a different hobby besides beer, wine, and liquor reviewing, because you're going to run into a lot of contract brewing, venting. What wine is venting? You know, you're a vintner. And distilling. That's the way the game works. So, do you prefer drier? All right, there you go. If you prefer sweeter, there you go. But we're talking about a very narrow difference. Like it's like a little bit drier. This one's like a little bit sweeter. Let's see comments. FD says it's worth the money. Well, it's worth the money. Do you ever mix drinks or have cocktails? No, I don't. Honestly, I really don't. I take it you are a purist at heart. I'm not really a purist at heart. I just don't want to use the liquor to make cocktails because I want to use them for taste challenges. You know what I'm saying? It's more like I'm like Mr. Thrifty at heart. I'm trying to nurse the products. Mr. Thrifty, see, he's very careful with his money. Although, I mean, I'm not opposed to cocktails. I just don't have any kind of great desire to drink them. If somebody told me, here's a cocktail I made, you want to try it? I'd drink it. It's not an interest area for me. In New Orleans, cocktails are big. I'm kind of an outlier because there's a television show that comes on once a week. I think it's on WLAE channel 32. And it's called The Tales of the Cocktail. It's a television show where for an hour they make cocktails and they talk about it. You know, they'll have a theme each week, you know, like the old fashioned, the mystique of the old fashioned. They'll go into the history and they'll have like a guest bartender from one of the big hotels, like Hermes Bar for Antoine's restaurant, you know what I'm saying? Or the Carousel Bar from the Royal Sonesta Hotel, the bar that turns in a circle, like a carousel. If you sit at the bar, you go in a circle. I've been there. And then there's a radio show version. They have a radio show every week, and I think it's Thursday, and it's called The Tales of the Cocktail. So that's a big deal here. I just don't care about it personally. I'm not opposed to it. Just because I don't care about it doesn't mean I'm hostile to the idea. So yeah, I guess it's a situation where I like them neat, like all these different liquors. They taste fine to me at room temperature without ice. They just taste good. So I just don't feel the need to go to a higher level with them. And that could be a bad thing on my part, or it could be maybe that I've got an insight that other people don't have, or I have a second sight. I am a 37th degree Freeman. All right, Ron, is the red wave coming next week, or are we in for a surprise? I really don't know. Got to ask Neil Cavuto. All right, anyway. Yeah, I guess I just prefer the one that's a little sweeter. I do like dry products, though. But this one seems to have a little bit more excitement. Isn't much more. Would I pay more for it? No, I wouldn't pay more for it. Are these both credible gold rums? Are these gold rums that are worth buying? I would say so, yes. Um, have I ever bought a rum that was bad? Not a gold rum. I bought some white rums that were silver rums that were strange, like the Ron Rico. No, Ron Rio. Sorry, Rum River. Ron Rio smelled like rancid sugarcane stalks and tasted like Monsanto Roundup. You know, the weed killer. I just didn't think that was a good presentation. It did sort of dissipate though over the last couple of years. Now it just tastes like regular white rum, but it was bizarre. Bizarre. Caliber white rum, or as they call it, Caribbean silver. It's not a bad flavor, but it's a absolutely bizarre flavor. It tastes like rock candy and strawberry shortcake. And you almost can literally feel your teeth rotting as you sip it. It's unreal, it's weird, it's strange, it's peculiar, and I could say it's odd. But I really can't say it's unpleasant. But it's aberrant for sure. Like, you would never use that as an example of, oh, this is what white rum should taste like, and give them caliber. Because then every other rum, they're going to say, well, this one don't taste right like that. And they're going to think every other rum on earth is wrong when it's actually the caliber. You know, but I only have 2 rums left, y'all. This is counting for Friday. We're doing Thursday. This is going to count for Friday. Then we got Saturday and Sunday. We have Saturday Skull Light Gold, really nice product. And then we have the Ron Pantaba. Yeah, it's, you know, it's nice. It's not great. It's not popular in Louisiana whatsoever, although the headquarters is here. The apparently it's very popular in Texas, and I can't understand that, but it is. FD says, will free speech ever be allowed on? I think it will be allowed on that platform. Rum always has a very high sugar base, so the sweetness varies by the barrel and the aging. Right, because it of course is going to have a high sugar base because it's made from, well, sugar, you know, molasses byproduct, sugar byproduct. So the only people I know that don't like rum told me, and it's not a lot of people, but they told me, I don't like it, it's too sweet. It's so sugary. Well, you know, because it's what it's made from. So that makes sense. It's like some people don't like tequila because they don't like that twangy, weird vegetable flavor. You know, succulent, vegetative, kind of bell pepper type flavor. I can understand that. And so it's not going to change. It's not like tequila is not going to taste like tequila. So just don't drink it. I haven't really run across anyone who is opposed to brandy. I don't know too many people that say, oh, can't stand the taste of grapes. Of course, I've run across a fairly large number of people that are indifferent to brandy. They're not opposed to it. They're indifferent. They don't care either way about it. They know it's a product. They don't care about it. Whiskey. The only people I ever met that didn't like whiskey were ones who didn't drink at all. Like I don't drink liquor or beer. You know, I don't drink. I never really actually ran across anybody who said, I don't like whiskey in particular. No, I can't recall running across anyone like that. I'm sure they're out there. Tulane is still in the top 25. Will they end the year there? Well, time will tell, right? But they're number 19. They're on the road at Tulsa Saturday morning, Central Time. You would think, I'm not saying anything. We'll see what happens. Let's just see what happens. I don't want to say anything. I don't believe in superstitions. I don't think I'm going to jinx them by talking about it. I don't believe in that. I just don't want to talk about it. We'll see. I just want to say, let's see what happens. I feel better looking at it that way. I'm shocked the Phillies are still in the series. Well, they can win. They're 2-2. 2 wins for Houston, 2 wins for Philadelphia. So, of course, they can win. I remember somebody kind of mocked me back in June. He was talking about the Braves. He always going on and on some long rant about the Braves. I said, if it was me, I'd keep my eyes on the Phillies. I said this right at the time they had fired their manager. I said, if it was me, I'd keep my eyes on the Phillies. And he like laughed me off like, he ain't laughing now. Yeah. So I think this is the Don Q. It is. I got it right. That was a close one. It was tough. It was very tough. So I got 2 wrong the previous 2, and I got this one right. So I'm going to finish with well, unless I bomb out on the last 2, but I think I'll finish with a winning record. Yes, but I would say that Don Q Gold is very nice. But when you get into competition with just the regular old gold rums, it's a real problem. So then, well, when you do a taste challenge series and it's a real problem, like you have a extremely, if not impossible, time telling one from the other, that is a message that's very clear. And the answer is you should only shop price. I mean, why are you paying more for something you can't tell it apart from other products? I know I wouldn't. It's just like slightly elevated discernible. You know what I'm saying? It's like not really just like all the rest. It's a little bit not like all the rest, but not by much. Now, and then you go to Bacardi, and it's a good deal more than just the rabble, you know, the riffraff. Although I like the riffraff. So, yeah, there you go. So get ready for Skull, Light Gold, and then closing out on Sunday morning with Ron Pontalba. And then it's off to the races with tequila, the Hornitos Black Barrel. Oh, that'll be fascinating. I could show y'all what I bought today, but probably nobody's interested. So we'll count it down to 0. If anybody is, let me know, but we'll count it down to 0. Then it's off to do other things today. And moving on. So 3, counting down 2, and counting down 1, and 0. Okay, so you'll see it when it comes up. It'll be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Pretty interesting. It's very interesting. All right, thanks everybody. Y'all take care now. And Saturday morning we'll be looking at some more gold rum. You take care.